I allow myself to be my best self, to be creative and to let go. Good day, good day, good day. I allow myself to live an elevated life, to stay focused and clear, always moving towards a goal. I allow myself to let go and to learn to live and to grow. I allow myself time and space. I allow. Yes, 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 yes. It's all about allowing. Winning is about allowing. We are already winners. There are the seeds inside of us, latent cells and energies within us that can move us towards winning, the concept of winning. Thank you for coming today, for arriving, for being here with us as we do part 2 of our class that we had last week, which was really successful. What every winner has in common. So this is what every winner has in common, part 2. We are all here on this planet. At least we feel like we're here. We have a perspective that we are here. Now, we may be actually being projected from another place, another space, but we're here physically to have an experience on what we call Mother Earth. And there are common universal rules and laws to being here. There are things that happen that we think are happening to us sometimes, but actually sometimes they're happening from us or for us. And for us to realize what it is to lose, sometimes, to win, sometimes we have to lose. And that's really important. Today, we're going to look at how this holiday season, what they're calling a holiday season, can affect you being a winner. A lot of the calls that I've received and emails and messages lately have talked about what are they going to do with this season? How are they going to make it through this season and come out without losing? So I had to think about that a lot because there's a lot of pressure that comes with these agreed upon holidays, holy days, these events where family gets together and friends get together and they celebrate something. And we feel sometimes that that's important. This is what we need. We got to get together. This is the only time we get together. Actually, we could create other times to get together. It's up to us to create something different if that's what we'd like. But to be, do, and have is really important. So you have to begin to be who it is you say you are, or instead of acting like you're somebody that you're not, act like who you are, or build the part of you that becomes real. But what happens is a lot of us have, we've kind of got caught in being something other than we are. We've got these platforms and we've got these profiles that we create and, all these things that we can do to make us look and sometimes even feel that we're more than we are. But actually, by respecting who we truly are, it's going to go much further because it's not going to be something that's contrived and created. Once you begin to realize that we are winners and proclaim that, you begin to program yourself through repetition. Now, there's one, there's a part of faking it until you make it. What do you have in your life? Have you looked at what you actually have? A lot of times what we're doing is we're looking at what we in no way have, what we don't have, and not really respecting what we do have. We have breath. We might not have a lot of money right at this particular moment. Some of us may. And then what is a lot of money? Because there's places on the planet where $50 is a lot of money. Where 50 cents is a lot of money. It depends on where you are and who you are. But we've got to use what we have. And we, as a people, sometimes we get caught in, looking at what everybody else has or what we think they have. We see these, what we call successful people they've got these cars and they've got the big house and they've got the jewelry. Is that success? Is that winning? Or is that just a facade that we have created? And when we go to the holiday meal or we go visit family, a lot of times we got to show and act and let everybody know what we've got, what we've gained. Have the jewelry on, talk about all the things you bought and purchased. You see, if that works for you, that works for you. But is that truly being a winner? What does winning mean to you? What does success mean to you? What does wealth mean to you? Not what does it mean to others? What does it truly mean to you? So welcome to part 2 of what every winner has in common. Who's here for the first time? If you're here for the first time, put it in the chat that you're here for the first time and how you heard about this and where you're from. And other folks, if you're here, you'd like to let folks know where you are. There's folks from all over the world that are gathering at this time who are seeking to get to that next level in life and seeking to expand their lives. And it is Dr. B's highest choice that he's able to give something, offer something that you can use today and from these classes and workshops. So give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you for being here. You are at the Elevation Time free webinar. This is our gift to the world. Winners usually give something. They offer things, whether it be humanitarian projects, they offer their help sometimes, but we have to be careful with this because some of us have this chronic servitude syndrome where we want to help everybody. And we want to help people that don't even desire help. It's very interesting how there is a program in us, a subservience program that must be broken. We feel like we need to serve every cause and help everybody, even those who haven't asked for help. That becomes a leak. And you just look at your body and your system in your life like a ship, like a vessel, like a boat. We've got to constantly check for leaks to make sure there's no leaks on the boat. Us always trying to help and put ourselves and assert ourselves in situations that have nothing to do with us. That's not truly helping, because some folks need to go through what they're going through to get to the next level. Sometimes we want to interrupt their process. That's not saying that we aren't here to assist those who desire help. We're saying that we can't help everybody. And a lot of times we need to help ourselves. Get clear about our vision and who we are, where we're going. What is your goal? This is the most important thing, becoming goal-minded. Winners are goal-minded. There is something, some idea that you must have in your head daily, constantly, that you're moving towards. Are you focusing on a chief goal? Do you have an aim in your mind? Do you know what direction you're moving in? By having a clear goal, you'll know who should be on the ship, who should be on the journey, who you should help, whether you should step in or not. This takes discipline. Successful people and winners, they do exactly what needs to be done, whether they like it or not. Winners will get up and push towards this goal, even if it looks like it's cloudy outside, it looks like it's hard, it's tough. They have a goal. They're disciplined and they keep consistent with moving towards a goal. You must have a goal and not change your goal based on your surroundings, based on your situation, based on other people. Are you goal-minded? Keep in mind that as you move towards a goal, the opposite of that goal is going to pop up. Everything is connected to its opposite. It's important for you to think about this for a second. Everything is connected to its opposite. Everything is connected to its opposite. It's called the law of correspondence. There's a corresponding action. If you attempt to jump up, gravity's pulling you down. The world is full of these opposites. Sometimes we call the opposite force the enemy. Or we might say those people are haters over there. They don't want me to succeed. And my family has issues with me succeeding. Or sometimes we have what we call winner's remorse, where we don't really desire to win as much. Well, we do, but we don't win because we don't want to leave people behind. How many of you feel like that? How many of you feel that winning could be a problem for those people around you that may be considered losers? How many of you would stay over in the kiddie pool, right, rather than go into the deep water, even though you're a great swimmer? So you want to stay with the people who don't have the same abilities you do, to make them comfortable so that they still like you, so you can still have love and relationships with those people. That's a tough one. Sometimes you've got to leave. You've got to leave the place that you grew up, at or around, the people that you grew up around. Because you must always move towards this goal. You must have daily routines that build momentum and that are always keeping you consistent on that track, on that path. And even when other people are quitting and either other people are telling you that it's going to be hard to move towards this goal, or that it's impossible, or that nobody in your family ever did it, or because you're a certain color or a certain race or a certain sex, you can't make it. This is one of the biggest factors. This is the thing that is the opposition in your life that's going to test you. It tests us all. Because our emotions say, well, we got to stay with the tribe. And if the tribe is a tribe of losers, we're going to lose too. But sometimes you got to leave the tribe so that you can go win and bring something back to the tribe. But you must be consistent. That's discipline. So every day, even if it's, let's say you've got another job, you're in a relationship, or you're in whatever, you've got to stay focused on this goal and do something towards the goal, even if it's only dream time, or meditate towards the goal and imagine that the goal that you're moving towards is already here. You've got to feel it as if it's already happened. We've got to move towards the goal, even if it's only in our mind. The most powerful piece that you have is imagination. I hear people say a lot of times, well, Dr. B, I want to start a business. I said, well, have you started yet? And they say, well, no. I said, well, do you have an idea of what it is? What is the business? What is the idea? What is the goal? And they'll say, oh, I know what that is. I know what I want to do. I says, well, are you doing it in your mind? And they say, well, what do you mean? To begin a goal or to begin a journey, you must already have it in your mind, which means you already left moving towards that goal. You're already journeying, even if it's only in your mind. Yes, it's got to turn into actual action. It's got to become physical, but you've got to start in your mind, because your mind is where everything comes from, because that is the seed that you're planting every day. So when you wake up in the morning, you plant the seed of your goal. You might draw a winner's circle on the ground. We talk about that in some of our other classes. And you step into that circle. You might draw that imaginary circle and say, that's my winner's circle. And you step into it. That's the first step you take of the day. Gather yourself and think about where you would like to be, what you would like to experience, and step into it. It sounds crazy. I mean, how's that going to work, Dr. B? That's nothing. It is powerful because your subconscious mind doesn't know that it's just an exercise or just a game or just a practice. It sees everything as being real. This is a part of being goal-minded, goal and gold. The gold mind, the goal mind is knowing that the treasure map starts with every step you take. So the first step you take in the day is moving towards the goal. Now you're going to receive some opposition, some people, some things are going to happen. The phone is going to ring, people in your family, the children are going to have something going on. There's a lot of things that are going to happen that are going to test you, because everything is connected to its opposite. This is the law of correspondence. Please look up the law of correspondence. This is something that would have been great if we learned this when we were young, but some of us are just getting this. When you decide to move towards a goal, the opposite, everything, the win. I just finished writing my book, and I remember as I was finishing the book, storms came, the electricity went out, my hard drive died in my computer. A lot of things happened on this journey writing this book. It was a very deep challenge for me for 7 years or more to write this book. And I always had excuses and reasons why, I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that because they said I was dyslexic. They said I was ADD, DDA, ADHD, all of those things when I was young. It was programmed into me that I was a loser. How many of you had programs around you and situations around you that let you feel or caused you to feel or created the vibration in you of being a loser? You may have been born into a family of what you may call losers. And that's okay because they're there to test you. Sometimes you can't change your family, but you can change your mindset and you can use your imagination to focus on what it is you truly desire. Because maybe you're the one that's going to change and help the family. And you must realize that every time you have some success, even if it's small, you must celebrate the small win. How many of you celebrated waking up today? Be honest. If you haven't, celebrate. How many of you celebrated that you were able to get on the internet or get on your phone to view this workshop? How many of you were able to take a breath and possibly have something to eat or drink some water or walk today? See, a lot of people don't have that. Their situation is not set up for them to allow them or to access something that you have right now. If you didn't celebrate, then you didn't vibrate your cells to tell your cells that you're grateful and thankful for this moment. You must be disciplined and consistent with celebration. You must be consistent. Celebrate all successes. The big ones, the small ones. That is only your mind that has this thing about how big or small something is. That is your own perception. When I got into sales, I was selling audio equipment, and it was 6 months before I sold anything. 6 months. And I wanted to quit every day. I went to work every day, and I got paid, a commission. So for 6 months, I wasn't making any money. Almost every day I said, I want to quit. I want to quit. Now, my partner and boss at the time was selling equipment every day. He was selling stereo systems, needles and speakers and amplifiers and, all kinds of things that, you need to be, if you're what they call an audiophile or a person who's really into music, you buy these high end, record players and stereo systems. We had stereo systems that cost $20,000. People who are audiophiles are that much into real analog or natural music. They would invest in these, I couldn't imagine buying a stereo system for $20,000. In fact, one of my first big sales was I sold a $50,000 audio system to the man who owns Armor All. Remember the company Armor All? Are they still around? I think they are. He had a house on an island. I was shocked that somebody would spend this kind of money for speakers and amplifiers. They even asked me to come install it, and they paid me $5,000. At the time, I had no money at all. I didn't know how I was going to live, but I was able to imagine winning. And my boss told me, he says, you made it to work today. And this was a phenomenal. This was one of my first big sales. And he says, you made it to work today. Did you celebrate? And I was like, no, what do you mean? I just barely made it. I had to walk and it was traffic and it was raining and somebody splashed water all on me. I got mud on my shoes. He said, but you made it. You need to go in the back room and celebrate and clap. Because if you're going to win as a salesperson, you have to already have one in your mind. Winners always are winning no matter what. Even if it looks like they're failing forward. Be consistent and have the discipline and consistency of celebration. If you haven't celebrated today, then there's no way in the world you're going to celebrate later on in the day when something happens. You got to celebrate all the small successes. Those small successes create the big success. I celebrated that day. And when this man came in, I was calm and collective. And he asked questions about all of the different equipment. And I had my homework. I knew about the equipment. I knew about the speakers. And I realized that, at some point he was a high-end client because the prices that I was throwing out to him didn't mean anything. And when he said, yes, I'll buy it, I celebrated within myself. And this is another thing for sales. This is an offshoot. If you're into sales, when the person says yes, stop talking. When the person says yes, you ask them, how would they like to pay? When I lost a deal, it was because I would still talk when the person said, okay, I'll buy it. I still would, because I was nervous. I couldn't believe it in my own self. I didn't feel like a winner. So I'd keep talking and start telling them about more, things that this stereo system could do. And this is a sub-bass suppression button. And this is an exciter. And this is a EQ balance, blah, 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 blah. And I went on and on and on. And the person would say, no, they already said yes, but I'm still talking. So what happens is the person starts thinking. And he says, on second thought, I think I better talk to my wife before I spend this kind of money. And he walked out. And my boss came and told me, he says, man, you just lost that sale because you kept talking when the man said, okay. When a person says, okay, they're ready to buy, stop talking and start processing. Start processing that card. So when the man from Armor All came in, which was a couple months later, I was prepared. And when he said, okay, I stopped. I went directly to processing his order. And it was one of the biggest deals I'd done. And I learned from that point how to win at negotiating, how to win at marketing. And sometimes your best tool is listening. Listening. Listen to what the people are saying. A lot of times when people are talking, what are we doing? We're thinking of what we're going to say next and what we're going to tell them and what advice we have and how we don't agree with what they're saying. And we're not even truly listening. If you would like to sell or sell yourself, you have to listen. Another thing that's important that many winners have in common, is they ask lots of questions. How many of you come from families or have people in your family who love to argue and they love to fight and they're like involved in Mortal Kombat most of the time? They're fighters. They're arguers. They're winners and they must win at arguing and they're going to beat the situation down and they need the last word. And they're always right and you're always wrong. How many of you come from that or have that around you, whether it's in the workplace, friendships, family? I'm going to tell you an easy technique to help you win an argument. One, listen. Listen to what the person is saying without interrupting them. Well, Dr. B, how am I going to do that? First, didn't I say in the beginning, you need a clear goal? What is your goal each day? You have to be goal minded first. And it takes discipline to stay focused on the goal. So even though this person has come to you or you've met this person or this person is, around you and they're arguing, you must have a goal. What is it that you really came here to do on this planet? What is your thing? So while the person is upset and going in, or they're on the battlefield, just listen. Rule number 1. Rule number 2 is ask them some questions. You might say, is it true that what you're saying is blah, 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 blah? Or is what you're saying, you repeat back what you think they're saying so they can hear it and they can agree or not agree that that's not what they're saying. They may change their story once you repeat it back. Ask them questions. Is it true that you feel such and such and such and such and such? And how often do you? Are you saying you would like me to ask questions, create a question list to the person? Even if it is a person who's coming to you who, like this is a possible client, ask them questions. Sometimes you need to write your questions down that you might have for them. This will create a lot of peace and create a whole nother vibration in the room. A lot of times we're going off, just wild because we feel like we're being offended. So if that person's come to us wild, we want to be wild too. They're mad, we get mad too. They're yelling and calling us names, we call them names. This is not going anywhere. No one's going to win. Winners don't get into arguments often. Unless they're like a lawyer, that's about arguing, getting people to believe in whatever you're saying. That's an argument. A winner sometimes will let the other person feel like they won. So when the client came to me one time when we were on Pico Boulevard, Los Angeles, and he was angry because he didn't feel that he got the results that he wanted from some products. So he came to curse me out. This man was mad. He was going off. He's pointing his finger, calling me every name in the book, some names that weren't even in books he called. I was calm. I breathed. This was one of the first times I conquered the old wild lion or the wild goat in me because I wanted to just gore him to death or just attack him because he was attacking me. He was like a parasite and I needed to be a parasite too. He was the devil, so I had to become the devil. He was loud, I had to become loud. For the first time, I was quiet. And I told the man, after he listed all the terrible things about me and called me all these names, I said, I think you're right. He says, huh? I think you're right what you're saying. He says, yeah, damn well I'm right. Pondering on your words is changing me. And I apologize for anything I may have said or done to cause you to feel this way. I'm going to take your words into consideration and work on myself. Thank you very much for your approach. You know what the guy said? What the hell is wrong with you? I can't believe this. He threw his hands up and he walked out the store. About 15 minutes later, the man comes back to the store. And my help, who also are, women who are in security, they were ready for the man because they don't know whether he's coming back to finish me off or what. He comes in and he's got tears in his eyes. And he says, "Oh my God, Dr. B, you're amazing. I can't believe what you just did. Something changed in me. I feel bad. I apologize for the way I acted. Your products are the best products I've ever taken. My wife just felt they were too expensive. So she was yelling at me and she got me to come down here and be crazy with you. And I apologize." That man pulled out his credit card and bought almost every product we had that day, including jewelry and other things that, we had at Elevation. And he became a person who always was at the lectures up front. He was always very helpful, very kind. Because what I did was I did transmutation and alchemy. I took what he said, and the first thing I said was, "You're right." Because the person that's coming at you, get to remember this as a winner. People are always coming at you, trying to, they're trying to degrade your win. I said, "You're right." That meant you're very self-righteous about what you believe, and you're right in your head. I'm not going to argue with you. Let them have it. This takes a lot right here, y'all. This is huge. You're going to need this because if you're about to go to the holiday meal, there's always going to be people who've got some issues with how you're dressing, how you're talking, how you're acting, especially what you're eating. And another thing about that, don't create arguments. Winners don't create arguments. Well, there might be some that do that. We're talking about the winners that are true winners, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. In no way go to the holiday event and push your beliefs on others. Allow them to eat and be who they are. Allow them to drink what they want to drink. They didn't ask you to come here as a nutritionist. They didn't ask you to come here as some type of spiritual zealot where you got to push your beliefs on them. Leave them alone. Let them live the life that they live, unless they ask you. And if they ask you, you even say, "Well, I don't want to get into that right now." And then if one person asks you one of these questions, you say, "Well, let's talk about that later on alone." Don't sit at the table or at the family event, start talking about all this stuff that you're into and what you've learned about the world and all the politics and all the, things about the matrix that everybody else might not know. Because what you're doing is you're being too loud. You're creating too much of a disagreeable vibration in the room. Is that your goal? To be explosive and agitate everything around you? If somebody at this family event would like to talk to you about what you're into now, pull them off to themselves. Wait till there's a time when it's just you and them. And don't try to convince people. Let folks be who they are, but if they're interested, be ready to teach. And send them to some references. Go check out such and such. Go check out this. Go check out that. Send them to Dr. B's YouTube channel. Tell them to subscribe. How many of you have subscribed to Dr. B's YouTube channel? How many of you have liked this video so far? How many of you are getting something that you can actually use today? So don't jump into arguments. Don't create arguments. Sometimes you got to deflect these arguments by apologizing and not choosing to go any further. And don't start this talk about what you're into in the politics and all that stuff that's going to create more arguments. Learn to be silent. Silence is golden. Learn to mind your business. This one is huge. Mind your business and put business on your mind. Mind your business and business your mind. Your business, your goal, your telos, wherever you're going, your journey in your life, you stay focused on that and stop trying to share everything and overshare about what you're doing, why you're doing it, when you're doing it, and what you believe on everybody. Leave people alone and stay focused on the goal. And you don't even talk too much about it until you get there, unless you have people who are you're involved with who would like to be there too, and people that are on the same road. But sometimes you're trying to drag people out of the city or out of the place that they're in to go with you on a road and on a journey to liberation, but they didn't want to go. They didn't get on the freeway with you. And watch out for hitchhikers. Here you are on the road to success, and somebody's trying to thumb a ride, and oh boy, I'm going to liberation too. And you let them in the car, and all of a sudden they begin to talk to you, and you begin to feel like this is your best friend. And you begin to bestow on them all your stuff and ask them opinions about what you're doing, why you're doing it. And all of a sudden now you've got their opinions in your head, and this is a hitchhiker. Watch out for the hitchhikers who want to act like they're down with you. Oh, you're my best friend. What does that even mean? So as we move through this holiday, don't pick up hitchhikers. Focus on your goal. Focus on where you're going. Don't get caught up in arguments. Don't be a show off. Don't try to show everything you got because you're at the holiday meal and you want to prove to the family that you're successful, because success is temporary. All success is temporary. You have to keep building, keep going, keep growing. And silence is golden. Mind your business. Every day, focus on your goal, no matter what. And stop talking about the food that they're eating. Let them eat their food. Let them. They want to talk bad about you. Let them. Allow them. They got issues with they want to talk about them politics and all that. Let them. That's their business. You learn to be silent because you are a winner. Winners don't talk all the time unless they're salespeople, unless their job is to convince other people to buy something or to have something or to join something. Otherwise, you're quiet. And celebrate every win, even if it's small. The holidays can be very challenging for a lot of us. A lot of things come up in the subconscious based on the past around the holiday. Sometimes this is the only time the families get together, especially on Thanksgiving. And some of you don't really want to do Thanksgiving, but you almost feel like you have to, because the family will be upset if you don't. How long will they be upset? Will they kick you out the family? Would you get kicked out of the family because you didn't go to the Thanksgiving meal? And don't go to the Thanksgiving meal talking about what Thanksgiving is really truly about. No, don't do that. Don't destroy other people's. See, what that does is it sucks energy out of your balloon. It takes away from your elevation. It takes away from your focus and your goal. Because is that your goal, to agitate people? Is that your goal, to make folks angry? Now you're creating more arguments. You're creating more agitation in the energy field. Be polite. A lot of folks at this time of year become depressed. This is when a lot of folks end up on, taking antidepressants and because they're sad. Some people can't get to their family. They're not around family. They don't have family. They don't even know their family. They don't know where they're from. And they're looking at all these commercials. And I was in the store yesterday. I went to a grocery store yesterday, and I very seldom go to grocery stores, and it was crazy. When I walked in, they had so many cakes and pies and cookies and candies and all these balloons and ribbons. This is a week. It's like a week, maybe almost a week before the holiday. This blew my mind. I stood there. I could smell the sugar. I could see the pies look like they were sweating, and some of them had some little condensation on the package because I guess they just are unthawing them. What do you call it? What do you call it? Thawing them out. The people you could see the vibe on people's faces. They were agitated already. The amount of sugar, the amount of preservatives, the amount of toxins that were piled up in the store. So this alone could cause you to have nervous tension because you feel like, oh my God, this is the season to be jolly. This is the season of love. This is the season of family. They had turkeys piled up, frozen turkeys. The turkey freezer was, and the turkeys were 50% off. 50% off. Well, how much did the turkey really cost? I can tell the way people were walking through the store. They were in like this. They've been through a lot this year between the politics and the layoffs and it's been deep. But a lot of folks become depressed during this season because this is the season that's supposed to be the season of love. And sometimes love is being around people that you really don't want to be around, but that you love them, so you're supposed to be them. You're supposed to go and do these things. If you decide that you in no way choose to go to the family event, then make that choice for yourself. Or create another family event on another day. Have your own day. Have your own day of thanks. If that's possible, invite the family to that. But don't walk into this place where people are full of sugar and preservatives and they're full of plastics. A lot of the foods got microplastics in them. So those are endocrine system disruptors, the plastics. So the endocrine system is your glandular system, which makes hormones, and hormones are chemical messengers. Chemical messengers are what tells your body or your organs what's happening in the environment and gives instructions to your organs. That's what your hormonal system does. But a lot of folks, their hormonal system is off. There's people going through menopause. There's menopause. Is it called menopause? Yeah, men go through stuff too. Then you got people that's in puberty. Hormones are affected by the environment. So a lot of times the messaging that they're receiving is based on, the amount of energy in the atmosphere. And mass distraction is the big thing. People are mass distracted. That's the virus. So we're going to sit at the table and scroll and talk about what we've said. And, people are into what everybody else is doing and what they think they said on the internet and the gossip and the Epstein list. I don't even know what you're talking. Is that my focus? Why do I need to hear about that? I had a client yesterday call me who's got some health issues, and they end up bringing up the Epstein list. What does that got to do with you and your nervous system? The average person's nervous system is in dysregulation because there's too much information, too much coming to us. So you've got to stay focused, as I said earlier, on your goal. Why are you here? You've got to be disciplined and stay consistent with your goal. This is the most important thing about becoming and staying a winner. What is your goal? Why are you here? Stop trying to change other people and bend them into whatever you'd like to, or mold them into what you'd like them to be. Unless your goal is to manage people and to have clients. And that may not be the best thing to do with your family. Do that with your clients. Find your clients. Talk to them about this. Offer your services, but not necessarily at the holiday meal. The folks are eating a lot of things that are causing their emotions to be shifted. The food dyes, the preservatives like BHT, and there's so many chemicals that the folks are going to be or are already ingesting, and they're going to be ingesting even more of them. And you're trying to do what? Stay focused. Discipline and consistency. Have a clear vision. Always work at self-improving yourself. Self-improving yourself, because that's what that means, self-improvement. You've got to have resilience. When you fall down, when you fail forward. You don't lose. You just learn from the loss. Winners celebrate success, even if they're small wins. Winners mind their business. Get out of other people's business. Get out of Babylon. Stop babbling on and on. Check your surroundings. Create the best environment you can. And if you're going to go into a holiday situation that could be challenging, prepare beforehand. Some of you need to focus your energy or contain your energy. How many of you have tried this product that we have? It's called the Master Tonic, Dr. B's Master Tonic Reserve. Have you heard of that? The Master Tonic Reserve, what it does is it seals up your energy field. The Master Tonic Reserve seals up your energy field. Because a lot of us have holes in our energy field. We're not zipped up good. So situations, they affect us. We become, open to the world. We become agitated when the world is agitated or people are going through something. We feel it too. We're almost too open. Dr. B's Master Reserve Tonic is something that I use. When I went in the grocery store the other day, I had that with me. I put some on and took some. You can put it on your wrist. You can take a few drops, and it just seals you up. So as I was in the grocery store with the lights and all of the distractions they had, I stayed focused on what I needed. I went there to get paper plates and to see if they might have had some decent sourdough bread. They had some almost sourdough bread. Some almost, it was sourdough, but it had so many other things in it that the word sourdough really kind of should have been at the bottom of the list. So I had to leave there. But when you're out in the world, there's electrical energy, environmental energy that will tear your auric field, your sphere, your magnetosphere, your space. It will rip holes in your aura. People's thoughts and feelings and judgments, they will affect you unless you're sealed up. So as a winner, I make sure that I have Dr. B's Master Tonic Reserve. The Master Tonic Reserve. Does anybody out there have the Master Tonic Reserve? It works immediately to seal you up. And this season is going to be deep because folks got a lot of trauma. This holiday season, the trauma is real. 2025 has kicked the ass of a lot of folks. A lot of folks feel like this was a ride. But it was a test. Another thing that's important is iron. Let me check. Do we even have iron? Iron goes so fast. You know, iron essential. Iron is important for courage, and it's going to take courage for you to move for the rest of this year. There's a lot going to be coming because everything comes at you from the holidays. Everything, they're throwing everything at you. Frequencies in the air, frequencies in the music, frequencies in the food, frequencies that will actually have you freaking out. Iron essential. If you don't have enough iron in your blood, then you can't stay focused. You can't stay consistent. Your discipline is off because iron is the thing that feeds your system and keeps you strong. Just think of what the word iron, implies. We don't get enough iron in the soil. So it's not enough in your plants. Unless you get plants from around the Caribbean and around the equator, which is what iron essential is basically, created for. Iron essential. Yes, somebody's asking. Yes, you get 18% off until Sunday at midnight of any of the things that you put in your cart at Elevation Time. Anything you purchase up until Sunday at midnight, you get 18% off. Iron is essential. Nothing in the body works correctly without iron. And a lot of folks come to me and they say, well, Dr. B, I take iron, but I don't notice that much of a difference because it doesn't have copper. You need copper with iron to get iron to open up and for your cells to be able to take it in, absorb it. Copper. Well, Dr. B, I was looking at your label and I don't see any copper on your label. That's because it's in a plant called kararu. The copper is in the kararu. These concepts are important. You need something to work with the iron. Just like you need to be with yourself and watch yourself when you're dealing with folks and you're in situations that are testing you. You need another part of yourself that's like your security guard to remind you that you are in a situation where you need to be quiet and stay focused on your goal. Iron helps you stay focused on goals. Iron helps you stay focused on your goals. And the other thing is you've got to be passionate about your goal. You can't let other folks and other people play with your prop, your thing, because they'll mess it up. Don't let them, like my father used to say, don't loan things out to people that don't have anything. Don't loan out things to people that don't have anything. Don't co-sign for people that have already got bad credit. They already messed it up. Now they want to mess it up. If they don't pay, then you're paying. So you might as well say that you're signing for it. Co-sign is a deep thing. Well, they really need it, and my credit is good. Well, guess what? If they do what they've done in the past, you're going to have bad credit because you're going to end up paying for this thing. Or, you may not have bad credit, but you're going to end up paying for the thing. So you might as well just pay for the thing. Sign for it. But we co-sign to people's bad habits, the way people act. We got excuses for people. Stop co-signing. Be passionate about what you're doing, minding your business. What passion does is it helps you stay focused on what you believe in your heart is your goal. So you've got iron in your system, and now you've got passion, and you're now you're now at the family event. You're at the holidays. You're going through this time where you are passionately working on what? Creating, imagining. If you imagine your goal every day, you're working on it. Don't say I'm trying to start my business, but what is the business? If you've got the business in mind, you've already started it in your mind. Now you need to be passionate and consistent about moving towards that goal, no matter what. Passion is important. So, we created a product to help folks become passionate. And when you take it, you feel it. It's not like you're all highly sexual, but the sexual energy is creative energy. So if that comes up, create. Give birth to your ideas. Give birth to your ideas. Give birth to your ideas. It seems I need to purchase some Master Tonic. I'm so affected by others. That's a big one with people. People are easily affected by others and how they feel. And that Master Tonic Reserve seals you up so they can't blow holes in your electromagnetic system. Iron is going to help you be strong because you're going to need to be courageous moving through the changes that are happening on the planet right now. You're going to need to be passionate about your goals and where you're moving, how you're moving. You're going to need to have a vision outside of reality. Huh? What do you mean, Dr. B? A vision outside of reality. That means that your pineal gland, which is helped to create the visionary in you, needs a certain amount of nutrition. It needs to be activated. So Platinum Life Monoatomic Elixir is the activator of your pineal gland. It helps anti-aging, energizes, it helps repair your telomeres, which are pieces of your genes that are breaking off, well, basically because you're aging or you're stressed out. Intuition is important. To be intuitive, to already know, to know when to talk and when not to talk, when to join and when not to join, when to argue and when not to argue, when to stop talking about whatever you're doing and be quiet. That's intuition, to just know already on the event horizon, to have a feeling in your gut about what you should do or what you should not do. Platinum. And if you got heavy metals in your system, then your whole system is not going to work accurately. And a lot of us have heavy metals from the air, from aerosols and chemicals from air conditioning, the chemtrails, the chemicals they use on foods, the preservatives. Those heavy metals become lodged in your system, so your system can never really work correctly. And one of the things that platinum does really well is helps to pull those heavy metals and eradicate those heavy metals out of your system. Are you ready? That's the one, the Dick Gregory Reserve is also called the Platinum Life Elixir. These are all available at elevationtime.com, elevationtime.com. If you're interested in, being ready for this season. The winter is coming. The winter is coming. This winter, they're already talking about the weather. They already know this is going to be a very special winter. They're talking about the rain in California. They've had torrential rains many places in the world where it normally doesn't rain. The world is changing fast. We're at a place we've never been before. People are changing fast. People are waking up fast. People are falling off and people are jumping on quickly. People are obtaining their life's passion right now. Even though we say how tough it is and how hard it is, some people today have finally broken through. Some people hear a message today that has finally woken them up. Folks realize sometimes at the last moment that the thing they've been missing out on is discipline. They haven't been focusing on their goals. They need more iron. They need more focus, more passion. How much focus do you have? Sometimes you don't have enough circulation in your brain to stay focused. You're drifting. You're all over the place. Focus helps you win by staying focused and being disciplined and consistent, moving towards your goal, having a clear vision. That is extremely important. To stay goal-minded, right? To stay gold-minded, you might need a supplement that can help you. If so, this one does very well for people who are really attempting to move towards that goal and to move past opposition. Another thing we should be careful of is the comparator syndrome. A lot of times we get caught in comparing who we are, what we have, to somebody else. Especially in new people to business, I notice this. They're always looking to see what their competitors are doing. If you get in the mindset, if you can create the mindset of having no competition, you're already a winner. You really think that you've got competition? That means you don't have anything special. There's nothing that you're bringing to the table that's different. Why are you even doing it? What makes your product special is you. Folks have asked me, they said, well, Dr. B, you give out a lot of secrets. And, even when you do food, you give out the recipe. I says, yes. Well, aren't people, they're going to steal your recipe? No, they're not going to steal my recipe because they can't steal me. I can tell you everything that's in my products. You can go to my website right now, elevationtime.com, and go look. And you'll see the ingredients for almost everything that we have. Dr. B, they're going to steal your idea. They can't steal my idea because I'm not in it. They don't know how much and when, and people are not aware of how Dr. B processes and creates these products. Some of them, I can't create them all year round. Some things you'll find on the website, and you'll say, oh my God, it's out of stock. When are you going to get it again? I don't know. When the vibe is right, when the energy is right. Some things you cannot create just because people want them and desire them. I create things because the time is right. I create products based on the time of year, what energy is happening right now. And right now, there's a lot of energy of stress. So the products that I'm creating now are all ones that help to alleviate stress. If you got parasites, which most people do, you're going to be stressed. Most people are dealing with parasites. Almost every disease that you know of is connected to parasites. Parasites, things that live in and on another thing and use the energy. I mean, a lot of people are parasites. You'll notice that some of these holiday events, the people are parasitic. People want, they want they want to show off, and they want to talk a lot, and they want to say the prayer, make the prayer super long. And, you notice that a lot of people, they need to be showboats. They want to talk and show up and prove themselves and impress everybody. You got to be careful because that energy can be parasitic. There's mental parasites, there's physical parasites, there's emotional parasites, there's energetic parasites. And these are things that are using your energy, right? And you become a host. So let's stop hosting the energy. Let's stop hosting these events that are going to suck you dry. Stop enabling people by giving them your energy. Be silent. Be consistent. Don't argue. Let them win. Let them feel like they won, because you're the winner when they don't realize that you haven't reacted to what has happened. Some folks say, but Dr. B, my nervous system, I can't handle it, man. It's just too much. And people's nervous systems are being tested right now. And this heaven on earth is amazing for their nervous system. This right here, I've got this in the car. I carry a little bit with me. I even mix it in with other products I have. You can mix all these products together if you need to, by the way. Have a cup of tea. Heaven on earth is really, really important because we're feeling like, you know, we're comparing. And this is what commercials and everything do. They make you feel like you don't have something. The fear of losing out, the fear of missing out is big, and it's connected to the psychological syndrome of comparatorism. The comparator is a person that's always looking at what other people have and looking at themselves and seeing what they don't have. This is the whole thing with keeping up with the Joneses. I want it because they got it. They got a big house. I want a big house. They got these big, huge houses with 1 or 2 people living in them. And you don't even use most of the rooms because we think bigger is better because somebody programmed us to think that way, to feel bigger is better. But it takes your nervous system being regulated. And when your nervous system is regulated, you're calmer. You're more relaxed. So heaven on earth helps you with anxiety, stress, mood, nervous system rejuvenation. And it's a heart tonic because a lot of times you're upset because your heartbeat changes. You know, when you start realizing that your heart and the rhythm of it and your pulse has a lot to do with your rhythm in life, you want to keep your pulse steady and be calm even in the storm because storms are coming. You never know when things are going to change. You never know when what you have now, you're going to possibly not have tomorrow. So celebrate what you have today and always be ready to rebuild. Have some emergency items around you. You know, we now offer several products from Elevation. We offer them in bulk. You can buy 12 of certain things. And, you know, normally you'd have to pay, you know, you'd have to become a wholesaler and all that. But I have people now who are actually selling our products. And if you'd like to distribute our products, you get a special discount. There's a page on the website where it has to do with you buying, you know, a 12 units, and you get a unit discount, a 12 unit discount. Some things it's best to buy in bulk. Folks found this out during the pandemic. When it happened, a lot of folks wanted to buy a lot of things like the X Factor, which is for viruses, you know, and they couldn't get it because it was sold out. X Factor was selling like crazy. X Factor and also Serious Defense, which is an immune enhancer modulator. X Factor, which is an antiviral. The vitamin C was gone. It was gone. So you don't wait for an emergency to happen and then try to order it. You order now. You prepare for the emergency and you have urgency now. That's why we're saying right now is the time. Don't wait till Christmas. Don't wait till New Year's. Begin cleansing and detoxifying now. Get rid of your parasites now. Get rid of your mindset now. Because we all are being tested right now. Right now. The Master Reserve Tonic. Right now. Passion Elixir. Right now. Focus. Right now. Platinum Life Elixir. Right now. Get that pineal gland working so you can stay focused on your goal. Heaven on Earth to help relax your nerves so that the effects of the news and the people and the energy of the family and the, you know, think about what most people talk about at these, you know, family gatherings. In most gatherings today, they're talking about what's happening in the news. They're talking about what they heard. They're talking about these, you know, what you call stars and entertainers and the gossip about them. Keeps you unfocused and clear. Winners stay focused. Winners are always winning. Winners don't go out into the world hoping to win, trying to win. They've already won in their mind because they're at oneness in themselves. And one thing that the winners do is they make sure they take the supplements, vitamins, and minerals, and intake the food that's going to help them on their mission. You have to eat for success, think towards success, and use supplements that help to support success. Why would you eat something that's going to be eating you? Why would you drink something that's going to degrade you? Why would you think something that's going to destroy your goal and your mindset? Why would you hang out with people that are going to get you hung up and hang you out to dry? Why would you agree with people who are in disagreement most of the time? Why would you believe people that have never told you the truth? Why would you vote for something and the people or the thing that you voted for has never been honest and told you the real deal, the whole story? What are you agreeing on? Agree to vote for yourself. Agree that during this time, during this challenge, that you will stay focused on your goal and you will be consistent and have discipline moving towards your goal. The first thing you need to do during the morning is take your herbs. Drink your tea. Exercise. Go for that walk. Do some visioning every single day. Before you get out of the bed, make a circle on the ground with your finger, an imaginary circle, and step into it. That is your winner's circle. Your winner's cipher. Have a focused, clear vision, a chief goal, and an aim every single day. Move towards that goal, even if it's only in your mind. Study things that can help you win. Go to conferences, meet with people, go to meetups and things like that that are going to be where you're going to be around other people and meet other people who are on that road to winning. If you're hanging out and going places that, it's just a bunch of people that are losers. I mean, I went to a happy hour one time and I remember everybody there was unhappy and they called it happy hour and the drinks were half price and the folks were just getting more and more drunk. And, I even had a drink in my hand and I realized that this was playing with my blood sugar levels and playing with my focus. And I looked at the people and there's a sadness over the happy hour. I'm not saying don't go to happy hour. I'm saying you need to realize that if you're looking for happiness there, that's not where happiness is. Happiness and joy, it's an internal thing. Heaven on earth is an inside job. Heaven on earth is a big inside job, and that's the big secret. So always do self-improvement. Change your routine. Learn something new. Try something that's going to change things. And I'd like to cover this before we finish today. Not today, but this talk. A lot of us have been through challenging relationships, either with the family, with our mates. A lot of us have been through hell. We've been tested. And we still wear the scars emotionally, mentally, and spiritually of what we've been through. And everything is connected to its opposite, though. So, have you ever noticed that you're in a new situation and you're out of the trauma, but the trauma is still on your mind and you don't trust that this new situation is going to be worthy or going to be, fulfilling because because what happens is when we've been oppressed for a long time and you grew up in oppression in an oppressive world, you begin to be a part of that world. You were raised in oppression. So now that you're trying to change your life, you may be oppressive yourself or be self-oppressing or self-depressing or self-repressing because you don't realize that there's another world. To change things, you have to go totally to the opposite for a minute. It's like a pendulum swing. Allow yourself to experience something totally opposite. If you're looking to be successful, go somewhere that's totally opposite of where you normally go. Instead of the happy hour, maybe go to the river, to the lake, or to the woods. Instead of going shopping, because shopping, we got shopaholics. Instead of shopping, go for a while go to a place where you're not shopping, where you can't buy anything, but you're focused on that goal. Your goal is dealing and focusing constantly on where you're going only. And that's what you're talking about in your own head. Now, I'm not saying to share because we overshare sometimes. We talk too much about what we're about to do and you give that up and people will eat that up and they will come back at you and they will try to destroy your mindset. So be quiet. But allow yourself to experience something different. Sometimes we move into a new situation and we're still feeling like the old situation is going to pop up and haunt us. We grew up through, an oppressive period. But this oppressive time is just temporary. It's testing us. And we want to have victims. We want to be victims. One thing victims all have in common, they have a parasitic mindset. We always need to point to somebody else and say who did it and who caused it. It was the devils. It was the reptilians. It was this person, this thing, that situation that caused me to be all messed up right now. If you are a victionary versus a visionary, a victionary is a person who's always living in victimhood. Then you're a part of the problem. Because we're always talking about the problem more than the solution. If you're talking about the problems 80% of the time and 20% of the time you're talking about solutions, you're going to fail. Winners focus on winning 80% of the time. They talk about solutions 80% of the time. And they may talk about the problem 20%. So you want to get into the 80-20 rule. Solutions, and then maybe mention some of the challenges. But if you are a person that's always talking about how bad it is, what they did to you, you are a loser. You're losing energy, you're losing altitude, you're losing oxygen, you're losing hydrogen, you're drying out, you are becoming dehydrated. You don't have enough water, enough oil, enough liquid. So you're burned out. Think about this for a minute. Do you proclaim yourself to be a winner? Would you like to be a winner? Then have already won in your mind. Be at oneness with yourself. People want to, even in this, in the chat right now, there are people who are throwing darts. People with huge egos who get their power from talking trash. They're there to distract you. They're distractive. They're destructive. They are the enemy, and the enemy is within them. And all they can talk about is how bad it is, and what, and judgment is huge, y'all. Judging other people, comparing. I talked about it earlier. The comparator vibration, the comparator personality, always comparing. And if you're pointing the finger at others, then there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. So be careful. When somebody has nothing good to say and they're always angry and they're always upset, they are part of your test. They're sparring with you. You must find the sweet spot in your life and don't compare yourself to others. And as soon as somebody's got something disagreeable to say, walk away. Find love. You must be passionately loving yourself, loving on yourself, loving those who are loving you. Love is life organically vibrating effortlessly. Let's be lovers again. Have you allowed yourself to become a hater and angry and problematic? Then you're caught in the illusion that was created. You're caught up, you're snared in a trap. It's a trick, y'all. Only a certain amount of us are going to get it and hear what we're saying here. Only a certain amount of us are going to be successful. Everybody's not going to make it. You can't bring everybody with you. You can't save everybody. But get yourself together. I'm not sure if we're going to have a class next Saturday. We might. Because a lot of folks said, well, we're going to be this and we're going to, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But learn to win in yourself. Allow yourself to feel good. Allow yourself to create the orgasmic space that creates more. This is a beautiful time. But we must be disciplined. We must stay consistent. We must focus on goals. We must have a clear vision. We must constantly always be committed to learning more, reading more, going to classes and workshops like this. We must stay resilient and have mental strength and courage and have the right environment, create the right environment, and stop making love with those who are on a different path with you. Stop mating and hanging out with those who are not on the same road to success. Either you want to hang out with those who are successful or those on the road to success. Don't be a loser. Don't hang out with losers. And realize that a lot of people are losers not by choice. They're born into families of losers. And many times losers are also abusers. They abuse power. They abuse words. They abuse energy and time. I'd like to thank you all for being here today. Thank you for investing in yourself. If you're going to have some sort of holiday season, then do your best to make it the best it can possibly be. Be grateful. Love those who love you, and be a lover. Don't wait for love. Create love. Everything is connected to its opposite. Allow yourself to be your best self. Choose your best self. You were born a winner. Stay that way. I'll talk to you soon. And if those of you who need consultations, I do consultations now. So go to elevationtime.com, elevationtime.com. Get on the email list. Make sure you're on the email list at elevationtime.com. And remember, our products that are on sale. Use that discount code. That discount code is good until Sunday at midnight. That's NOV, no, for November 22. That discount code is good until Sunday. I'll see you all again soon. Thank you very much. Allow yourself to be your best self right now. Travel light. A lot of that luggage is not yours.